Everybody, I just wanted to give you guys a little more info on the website and the models. There's been some confusion about how to use the models now that there's a couple more options. So I just wanted to take you through the site, and I've made some changes to give you just a quick glimpse of where to look for the latest and quickest information. So here you see the member homepage, so it's on my website under Economic Pulse Newsletter, member home. That's exactly where it is. Quick link, and then there's a bunch of other obviously options, subsections of the site. Let me go back to the member home. Sorry. So you click there, and then there it is. Right. That's the member homepage. One thing I've started to do this year is just a quick one-liner, two-liner every week saying what's changed. There's a lot of information going on, so just want to describe that, and I'll post a link to this video right here. I'll replace this old video. The newest section on the member homepage is the current model status. That was an attempt to address some of the confusion. So the current model status I update once a week and tells you what's going on in each of the two main indicators. Right? We have an SPY comp monthly risk on, risk off indicator, and we have an SPY comp weekly risk on, risk off indicator, right? And so just a quick shot allows you to see red is not invested, is risk off, which means it's invested in IEF, and green is risk on, which means it's invested in whichever model's risk on assets is the best performing. Okay, so try to explain that here. So you have the monthly and the weekly. The monthly only changes once a month, right? The weekly changes once a week. So here, as of February 8th, the monthly is still risk off due to the drawdown limit trigger, and the weekly is risk on. All right, and here below, I kind of give you a current status, or what would it take for a risk on trigger. So for the weekly, has been bad risk on since Friday, February 18th, right? And it closed back below the 13-week moving average would take it risk off again, right? And the monthly model at the end of February, or at the end of the next month, which happens to be the end of February, a close back above the 6-month moving average would take this monthly model back to green. All right, that's it. That's all you need to know. The monthly model, there's on the dashboard, there's all the ETFs that it would be invested in. For the weekly, I just leave that up to you. It's a little more complicated to implement, but basically you go to the portfolio tracker, whichever is the top performing ETF in that model, you go risk on. Okay, that's pretty much it. So once a week or once a month, you can go to this page and at least get just an overall status. Or are we invested in risk assets or are we not? All right, and then for more details, there's a lot of places you can go. These are some of just the quick links to the dashboard, the indicators, investment models, etc. All the newsletters are here in this table. That's updated only once a month. And then below there's some backgrounders of how the model was created, why the economic signals work, how it created the investment models, what happens when the models fail, as they do, as we've seen recently. The weekly SPY comp model, and I updated that for 2019, limit trigger analysis, etc. All right, so that's the main member homepage, and then there's a lot of details. For example, you can go. I usually use the main menu up here; it's just easier. But for example, if you want to see the details behind the model, I keep that on the heat maps and charts. This is also updated once a week, and I keep the heat map of the weekly model. Also what some of the other weekly models from others are saying, and the monthly model, which is only updated once a month, but kind of gives you the weekly will obviously react sooner. So for example, the unemployment rate indicator went red, meaning the economy is in warning mode for the weekly model. And then that's going to react before the monthly model, obviously. So when I update this model at the end of February with the January data, this unemployment rate little line will go red here. Okay. Now you have to remember these models they need two pieces to work. There's I think a lot of you are getting confused between the economic part and the whole model. So there's two pieces to each model. There's the economic portion and then the price signals that we need confirmation from. right? So we monitor the economy. If the economy is okay, we ignore the price signals. If the economy is not okay, then we pay attention by a red, one of these being red. Then we pay attention to the price signals. That's how basically the models work. Okay, and then there's details on all the charts here. Now, I did get some good feedback that these were a bit zoomed out and it's hard to tell what's going on currently. So I am going to provide some more zoomed in charts for the current cycle, and I have those pretty much ready to go. I have to upload those, and then I'll provide a link to the more long-term charts and maybe update those once a year. So let me know what you think of those changes when I make them. And those are all the indicators there. Okay. Again, you don't need to look at that, but I know you like to look at that, especially when I talk about the indicators, the unemployment rate, etc. You can go look there. I do have, if you do miss one of the weekly updates, but sometimes MailChimp drops you from the mail list, which is definitely irritating. I do have the weekly updates in an archive here you can just link to. Now, I don't publish them every week. The only time I don't publish them is when there's a newsletter that's released that week. So for example, the first week of February, January ended on Thursday, if I remember correctly. So I published a monthly newsletter, so there was no need to do a weekly update. I just updated the website with a weekly model. So that's how I do those. But you can, if you miss one, go back and check those. And then that's about it. And the rest of the site is the same. I have, there's the supporting indicators to get all the gory details of all the indicators, and we track a bunch of other ones and what they're saying. And that's in the monthly newsletter, as you're aware. I'm trying to put more stuff on the website instead of in the PDF of the newsletter. And maybe one of these months I'll move to 100% posting the newsletter on the website directly instead of PDFs. I know a lot of you prefer that. So we'll see how that goes. And that's pretty much all you need to know. The monthly dashboard you can check once a month. It's in the PDF of the newsletter, and that just tells you where to be invested for that month. So as at the end of January, we were still all invested in IEF. TA bond was in these 3 ETFs, so that's only updated once a month at the end of the month. Okay, so that's about it. That's what I wanted to do today. If you have any questions, drop me a line. I'm willing to make changes and reduce confusion. I try to provide a lot of flexibility in the model so you can implement it for your own situation, like whether to use the drawdown limit trigger or not. It makes things a little more complicated, but every individual situation is different, and so I think that's valuable. So I just need to explain it better, I think, if you don't understand it. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks.